You create a ton of videos and it led you nowhere. And you feel like you're not getting any better at content creation. Feeling stuck at the same views, watch time, and not being able to break through. Here's 7 things that you need to focus on that could change and elevate your content creation game forever. And each one of these steps could help you in different aspects of content creation. The first one, be willing to change and adapt. So many small creators have the problem of doing the same thing again and again and again, and they say to themselves, why am I not finding any new results? Maybe the problem is that you're doing the same shit again and again and again. That's why you need to start to think differently. You need to start to adapt something called change and experiment. Because what you don't understand as a small creator, that YouTube viewers respond differently to different formats and different types of content. That's why you need to change your mindset from the one format YouTuber like this one, Talking Head, to different styles of content. That could attract different types of viewers, and with that your ability to go viral goes higher because you are experimenting with different formats that could actually work. That's why if you look at experienced YouTuber, you will find a variety of formats that they work on. Different types of formats attract different types of people. This step is essentially telling you that you need to get out a little bit of your comfort zone and start experimenting and try to be a little bit creative in a way that you never thought that you could do. Now, the second tip is improve your storytelling. Storytelling is not only a way to attract viewers to your audience and help you gain more attention. It's a way to introduce conflict and solutions. You should always have in your videos some kind of conflict that triggers the curiosity gap in the viewer's minds that you build a story upon in order to get to the solution. But storytelling doesn't only improve your ability to tell a better story or retain viewers for longer in the same video. It helps you create something really special, a visual story. Storytelling is the most basic way in filmmaking in order to create a short list or create different scenes that people can really enjoy and relate to in order to get themselves better in the story and understand it even more. So when you practice storytelling, your ability to be a better filmmaker, a better content creator will elevate so much higher because of your ability to translate that story into visuals and sound effects and music that immerse the viewer into your video, which makes the viewing experience so much higher, and with that your watch time and your actual probability of going viral goes higher as well. Now, the third and probably the best tip that you need to understand: know your TTH even before making your video. Beginner content creators almost focus on completely on the video and they miss the slightest cues into creating better content, which is understanding TTH, title, thumbnail, and hook. If you've created the biggest and the highest production video of all time on YouTube without a clickable title and thumbnail, your ability to actually get people to watch this video will decrease exponentially. That's why your title and thumbnail are the most single important thing that you need to perfect with each video that you try to make. Invest at least a day into creating the perfect title and thumbnail for your video, but you must not forget about the hook. The hook is complementary to the title and thumbnail. Your hook's job is actually confirm the title and thumbnail for viewers and create a curiosity loop which makes the viewer intrigued into finding the answer, and to be able to do that you need to understand more about storytelling. Now, tip number 4 is actually something that I struggled with. When I started content creation, my process of creating content was so random. I didn't really understand where to begin, where to end, how should I create content in order to make it a little bit more relatable, in order to make it a little bit higher in quality. And what I didn't understand at the time, that chaos was the actual enemy of creativity. And every time I wanted to create a video, the chaos that went into my creation process was a huge block into my creative system that made my content really reflect the chaos that I was in. But when I deleted my old channel and I actually wanted a fresh start on YouTube, the first thing that I did was create a YouTube system, a system that I could rely on in order to create the perfect video and better content with each time I could post a video. And with using that system every day, the content creation process of me creating a simple YouTube video became so streamlined that it feels effortless. And I started to see a huge difference in my own content because everything was smoother and everything was easier. Now, if you have the same problem with chaos and you're not able to plan your content correctly, you can check my content creation system in the link below. Now, tip number 5 is relearn everything. When we start a new habit or skill, we tend to really misunderstand where should we begin at first. And the same goes for content creation. When I first started content creation, I thought I needed a big camera. I thought I needed the best laptop in order to edit the best videos. And I started to focus on all the wrong things. That's why I want you to really relearn everything. I want you to learn from experience. I want you to learn from failed experiments in particular. And this is something that actually made a difference in my content creation game. When I started to relearn everything and learn from experience, I stopped focusing on the problem. So many small creators think that when they don't have views, the problem that they have is not having views. When they don't have enough watch time, they think about watch time. When you actually look at the root of the problem, when you don't have views, that means that there is a problem that needs fixing, that your title and thumbnail are not clickable. When you have a huge drop in your intro, that means your hook is not working properly. So when you start to think about solutions, not problems, and the root of that problem, everything will change. Now, tip number 6, consume with intent. We consume a lot of content in order to get the perfect content idea. But the problem is, when we actually watch a piece of content, we don't have an intention behind watching that piece of content. But the problem with that ideology or that thinking that you're not actually consuming with intent. And when you start to consume and realize what you're watching and what worked, your ability to create better content will make a huge difference. You need to start learning and consuming how to create better composition, how to create better lighting, and how to make the circumstances and using your own goddamn phone that you think that it's worthless in the best way that you can. So when you actually want to consume something, even for entertainment, start to analyze that content. Start having a piece of paper and a pen next to you and write down what actually made it interesting. Now, tip number 7 is be a little bit personal. And to be honest, I have a problem with this tip. I have a problem in showing my vulnerabilities. I have a problem with telling my problems. I have a problem with being human in front of people who are watching me. That's why when people actually watch my content, they don't feel connected. And this is probably the biggest key point in order to create a personal brand. And now the secret and final tip is in this video that you could watch and enjoy. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.